Okay, today we're gonna talk about my Honkai Star Rail account, things that I want to fix, and things that I just want to reference. That way, in the future, whenever I come back to relook at and to compare this account versus the account in the future, I can kind of see where my issues have started versus where I can improve on. Something that is kind of in the major list is definitely Divergent and Simulated Universe. We so New week, surprise. But I am behind on a lot in here. I've kind of just cleared the lowest level possible. Or I haven't even, or I'll skip it to its entirety and just kind of wait. Now my debut is a little bit different. I have done some of this just because I love utilizing the save option and being able to, but there definitely are like things that I need to improve on. Just because it has it's been out for a little bit of time now, and I'm still a lower synchronicity level. That's a word. So I want to make sure that I'm doing my best to make sure that I'm on top of everything. Because I do want to be able to maximize my account and be able to build a variety. So that is problem one. It's just I haven't been able to do these enough to where I've been able to farm for as many characters as possible. But before I talk about characters, I kind of want to just look over how much I've explored really. So we've got a lot of the early areas in the game I've done pretty okay on. There's a couple zeros here, but I've done pretty okay. Same with the space station. I think I've done pretty well in terms of exploring, and I think I'm just missing one. I just can't. I totally and I've done a little bit of the Lofu as well. We've been able to kind of really take time and explore. But once we get from here, I think a lot of my especially Pentacone and Forius, where there's the difference between the dreamscape and reality, I've struggled with a lot. So you kind of see there's a bunch of big I'm missing a bunch of chests. And this is super easy to do, just takes a little bit of time. So this is just a reference, so that way in the future we can be wow, she did this. And then Dawn and Evernight and Forius, that's a whole zero right there, and this is the city. We've kind of not been looking through anything, and we have caught up on the Vortex of Genesis as well. So that's just a framework as well. Alongside that, I did take a little bit of a hiatus, so I have a bunch of events that I need to catch up on. I have done some. You can kind of see that I've done a good chunk of them, but there are a ton that I haven't been able to do. And either I chose not to do them, or I could I just took a break and just haven't touched them at all. Also the amount of quests I have is pretty crazy. I caught up on the Trailblaze quest, so that one I've been able to consistently do, but anything anything in the blue I have not touched at all, barely enough to the point where I've been able to notice that it's getting a little overwhelming seeing it constantly, and this is a problem that I want to identify. But a lot of my issues really do kind of sit with characters. I've been able to build a lot of them up, but also, alternatively, I've been able to build them up, I've been able to level some cones, I've been able to get traces, and I've been able to do relics, but my real problem is with planner ornaments. I don't have enough in sets consistent to be able to build a bunch of characters. Also, on the flip side of that, I have not been doing a lot of boss grinding either weekly. And the easy solution is to just knock it down a level or two and be able to get it done. Because I do try to do things at max level, and I'm kind of seeing where it's a little shaky. But I've been able to kind of build up from here, so I've been able I think my real issue is I'm farming for things and I'm not really looking through what I've farmed. And so I'll just like, I'll literally either skip it or I just won't do it. Or I don't have the planner ornament set that would work best with them. So it's just been able to like, to understand the kit, understand the rotation, and kind of like build the supports really well because I have a bunch of really good supports. I've got my Sunday. He needs some work, but he's getting there. And like making sure that like I'm helping my DPSs as much as possible because like everything has been shifted and I'm not really catching up on a lot of things. Or alternatively, I'm not building the correct team for characters, and that's also a problem that I can address in the future, just to be able to, just long-term be able to make my account more sustainable. It is a lot less than my Genshin account for sure, because we do get a lot more with Honkai Star Rail than we do with Genshin. And there have been times where I've taken breaks and I've let this go to like the full 2400, and then I'll like come back and like just grind out materials as much as I can. Another issue I do have is I've got a ton of light cones that I haven't really built. Or not built, I haven't leveled up. Because I have a ton that I've put on characters and they're like either like most of the time they're at like level 60, kind of like the one for Black Swan here, or I haven't spent the time to like superimpose any of them, so they're not doing their best damage quality. That's also been a hiccup for sure. But I've now kind of shifted. When I pulled an axe, I was able to kind of get mostly everything done, and he does have a functional build. I do want to get more crit damage on him, but that's me nitpicking and something that I can work on later. But there's really not a lot, because like if you really think about it, there's not a whole bunch to level. And then where's the Clocky statue? Where am I? Pinnacle? Yeah, so like my Clocky statue does need a little bit of exploring here. I don't think it's a super low level. I think it's like in the middle. I can't remember. Yeah, it's at like 34. So it's like we're at a, let me do this then. We're at a decent level. And then I think my fountain is at a pretty okay is at a pretty okay spot too. I can't remember, but I've done a lot of questing since like I kind of noticed all these problems with my account. Yeah, so like we could do it right now, and it's gonna jump up. Yeah, so now we're at 33, which great job for us. But I think just being able to catch up on a couple of like really small things, and like the events are probably what's gonna take the longest time. Oh, also on top of that, alternatively, I have not touched in-game content since there was one mission. I think it was this one. I think this was part of a quest. And I've done like a little bit for sure. But I haven't touched any of like Pure Fiction or Apocalyptic Shadow. And like you can kind of see like a little bit of Forgotten Hall, but definitely not enough to where like these are permanent, but I haven't touched any of like the weekly or like the resettable ones. So that's also something I'm going to do in the future, is to just kind of go through and look at what I'm building and making sure like I'm putting the right characters together, and like I'm able to understand who works well with who and how this team should work, instead of kind of just like throwing things together and hoping that I clear something. Because that has happened before. Especially with, I think it was, I forget where it is. Yeah, So back when we had to like fight this monster for this material, it took me like 6 months to be able to even build a team to be able to like conquer this. So a lot of my characters are behind because that's like my Kafka, my Black Swan. I think my Aventurine also needed this material. Like very nitpicky things, and I wasn't able to clear it before. So like in 6 months, I want to be able to like take a screenshot of like this video and compare it to in the future just to see like was I able to accomplish my goal of being able to understand characters, to build the right team, and to be able to finish content that I've never been able to do before. But like I think it's a lot more simpler compared to my Genshin account because my Genshin account has a lot more character, a lot more work to do than it is for this one. I took like a year break because I've been playing since 1. Like I had my account since 1.0, but I haven't done anything since. So you can kind of see like there's a lot of stuff I haven't caught up on, which is okay. Like, but I do want to like check in 6 months just to see like where we are. But like my account, I think it's super manageable and there is a lot of work to do. But I do want to make sure that like I'm not making this and then just forgetting that I'm supposed to be working on making this account better. So hopefully in 6 months we'll see a whole bunch of improvement. But I hope you guys had fun just listening to me talk about this account, and I hope that you will come back in 6 months and we can go over it all together. And thank you for watching.